So we'll get going to announce the team for the weekend against England. Head coach Joe Schmidt will announce the team there.
And you're going to be set on your channel?
It's going out live there,
yeah. The starting 15 for this weekend's match against England is from number 1, Ken Healy, Rory Best as captain, Tyke Furlong, Jean Klein and Ian Henderson in the second row, and in the back row, Pete O'Mahony, Josh van der Fleer and CJ Stander. In the back line, it is Connor Murray, Ross Byrne, Jacob Stockdale on the left wing. In the midfield, Bundy Arkey and Gary Ringrose. And on the right wing is Jordan Lama with Rob Carney at fullback. On the bench, Sean Cronin, Jack McGrath, Andrew Porter, Dev Toner and Tyke Byrne. And the backline substitutions, Luke McGrath, Jack Carty and Andrew Conway.
Big opportunity for Ross Byrne. What have you seen from him that Jesse's ready for that?
Yeah, well, he's trained really well, and it's not his debut. He's had time with us before, so that we've got a lot of confidence in him anyway. And I think he built his way through the season. I thought he was maybe not as impressive as Jack early in the season, and I think those two have become really important to us. Joey's done well this week. Johnny's he's fine, but he missed a bit of time with his thumb, so he's a little bit behind, and we know how well he plays fresh. We don't feel like he needs a lot of time with the experience that he's got. So for us, the guys that need the time are probably Ross and Jack, and they've got the opportunity to do that this weekend. That they'll share a bit of time, I'd say, in the middle.
How important are those two guys now, because Joey obviously has picked up that injury?
Yeah, they were always really important because it's such a specialist position, but they probably wouldn't have had this opportunity as much. Joey, especially on the back of his 50 minutes, I thought he was as good as I've seen him in that first 50 minutes against Italy. I thought he controlled the game really well. He's always a threat individually running, carrying the ball, but I just thought his control of the game was very, very good. So for him, the frustration is not being able to get that opportunity to continue that. It's probably a frustration for us as well, but it's somebody else's opportunity, and I know that Ross has trained well this week and is very, very motivated to do the job for us on Saturday.
Except Jack, they seem like quite different players. Is that part of it to consider as well for Ireland, that people talk about Ross being similar to John? Is there a sense of that?
A little bit. That's probably a fair observation. I think Ross's ability to control the game, it's one of the things that was defining between him and Joey probably in Leinster, in that Ross ran the game and Joey ran really well individually. But I think it's also something that comes with a rhythm and game time, and Jack, whenever he came off the bench for us in the Six Nations, I thought he did a super job. So we have a lot of confidence in Jack being able to control the game, and we do think he can bring a bit of a change up off the bench. Either way, I think they'll both get a bit of time on Saturday to demonstrate what they can bring to the game.
Another chance for John Klein. Do you really like what you see from him so far?
Yeah, the thing is, we gave him some things to work on from last time, so we want to see if those can materialise on Saturday. Because he's so new in, we felt that it was a priority for him to get the time. Again, it is a fickle balance at the moment. Dev knows our game inside out, so needed less of the time. Ian Henderson, he's trained so well this week. We're looking forward to seeing him out there, and it also gives Tyke Byrne another opportunity to be that kind of coverall back row, second row. I'm not saying that he's not good enough to start in either of those positions, but he's nice security having him covering all 5 of those back row positions, albeit probably 7 would need to mix and match somebody, but he can cover 6, 8 or 5.
How old was you started training? What's the general state of fitness?
Yeah, they haven't. Conan and Dave Kilcoyne trained today and are looking really good. I'd expect that they will both be involved next week. Again, Jack's had plenty of time with us. We felt against Italy we wanted to give Tommy and Geordie and Reece the opportunity. This week it was the other guys, and we just feel that Jack, he needed another week just because he was a bit slow into the pre-season, but he should be fine. So should Dave Kilcoyne. Johnny ran early in the week, and so we're just buttoning off him a little bit because we don't need him till next week or the week after, depending on how these two guys go on Saturday. We're also conscious that Johnny needs enough time for himself so that he can be comfortable going into the first round of the Rugby World Cup. So that'll be part of the balance, and we'll have a look at this game on Saturday and then project things forward from there. Robbie trained early in the week and did a good bit of work today, and again he'll be really keen after watching Chris do pretty well and Gary, as he always is, be really good for us, and Bundy and Gary getting a chance this week. I think Robbie will be motivated to put his best foot forward next week.
Joe, with regard to just preparation for Japan and the environmental challenges, how valuable do you think this week is going to be, and how challenging do you think it's actually going to be from just the weather and temperature perspective over there?
Yeah, it's something that's really hard to assess. I know we're getting quite close, and there are still some extraordinary temperatures in Tokyo at the moment, that's something that I'm sure World Rugby are keeping an eye on as much as us, and it wouldn't surprise me if they implement water breaks in some of those early round games just after that 20 minutes, because it is in the player welfare code that once the humidity gets particularly high and the temperature's high. We did it when we were in Japan last time. We've played at the peak of the Japan summer, so I think that investment in 2017 is a real positive for us, because a lot of the players who are with us now have experienced that. So being here, as you guys can all testify, having been here for a couple of days, it's very, very warm. I mean, we trained this morning, we're finished now, and it's already very warm. We've trained in the middle of the day, later in the day, so we've mixed it up. Players have got through it really. See what happens. That humidity is probably the thing that we haven't really had here. It's been quite dry heat, but there's been a lot of it. It's been very warm, up to 36 degrees during the time that we've been here.
All that training in the heat, I mean, will it have an impact on performance levels on Saturday, or have you been able to manage it?
Yeah, it's a risk, but it's a risk we were always prepared to take, because you've got to play the long game. There's only one tournament this year that we have to go after, and as much as Saturday is a test match, and it's a test match against an old foe, and they'll be up for it. They've had 2 test matches already. A lot of our players haven't played yet. They may have a little bit of an advantage there. They have freshened up a bit this week. They had a couple of days off at the start of the week because they're probably a little bit ahead of us in their preparation. But your timing, you want to make sure that you periodise it right, so that we're on an upswing by the time we get to that September 22 game. And so an August 24 game comes a distant second. So if we're carrying a little bit of fatigue in the legs on Saturday, I'll accept that, and I don't think we'll accept it easily, because we want to be really competitive on Saturday. But if this last 8 days is good preparation for September 22, then that's what counts most.
Avoiding injuries is even more powerful than the top really, isn't it, in some respects?
It is, Jerry, and one of the things that we've got to be absolutely committed to is going as hard as we can in this game, because invariably when you start trying to look after yourself, you get the timing slightly wrong, you're a little bit hesitant, and that's when you you can pick up something that you'd rather not have. So, I think for us, we picked up a couple of injuries in the equivalent game in the Six Nations. Obviously, Keith Earls taken out early in that game, and then off at half time, and was pretty uncomfortable for the remainder of the following week. But he backed up again, so it was nothing serious, and we'll be hoping to get out of the game free of injury. And I know that Eddie will be hoping the same thing with the English lads. They're already, they've named their 31. They've had some guys that haven't had a lot of game time. I think Mako sounds like he might come back and play. Mark Wilson might be back in there. But there are a couple of guys like Jack Noel who won't be there yet. So they're already looking after a few guys themselves, just as everyone is at this time, because we're all trying to play the long game but be competitive in the short term.